Dylan, time doesn't matter.
Hello, 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 everybody. We're here, and we have bandwidth coming through for now. Fingers crossed.
Oh, wait.
It seems to be working.
Wait a minute. Oh, your mom has taken over the number one spot.
Oh my gosh, this whole ranking thing on YouTube chat is just ridiculous. I'm glad everybody has made it. Katie got home from Mike T in time. Yay!
We think we have everything fixed.
It turns out that being two Wi-Fi generations behind on your router is not great for your internet speed. So we've resolved that. I still haven't fixed this issue with our fucking camera that makes us kind of jerk every now and then, but I don't think that's internet related, and I think that's camera/computer related. But whatever. Yeah, we were on Wi-Fi 5 with our router. So and now we're also hardwired into the router as well. So that should help with a Cat 6 cable and not a Cat 5 cable, which I was using during testing. So
I'm sorry, 5 cats is too many cats.
Is it?
At what point do you become the crazy cat lady?
Probably cat 7.
Okay, that's the limit. All right. I have time. Anyway.
So you got 5 more. You got 4 cats that you can get where you're saying.
Yeah.
But then the 5th one.
Yeah. Does that make you a crazy cat lady too?
By osmosis.
Yeah.
No, I would just have to rethink things.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, it's good to be back for the final show of the season. Even the last one was a clusterfuck, but because it didn't happen. But the final show of the season. So thanks everybody for joining us, and I guess we should get started with it. Should we get started?
Yeah.
Brandy, give me a countdown.
Sure. Yeah, and 5, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. I'm Liz.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brandon.
And it's our...
We always just sound like, oh, God.
Yeah, you sounded so bored. You're like, I'm
But is this a
Mike.
Monday at work? The best day of the week?
Jeez.
Jeez.
But no, guys, it's our final episode of Season 6, and it's a high in the sky.
This is episode 137. I never thought we would do 137 episodes.
Yeah, well...
I'm glad we survived past episode 2.
Yeah, we with that alcohol poisoning. But it is the high in the sky for September of 2025. We will be back at the beginning of October. With possibly a special guest.
Yeah, no, we'll have a special guest.
Familial
They
relation.
have chosen the topic.
Yes.
Is this one of the 7 cats?
Yes.
No, but it is animal related, at least with regards to. All right, so it'll be my daughter.
Oh, you blew the surprise.
Just edit that in the post.
It takes a lot of work. Okay.
Whatever. All right, yeah, she'll be here, and she has chosen a topic that she chose today, which was inspired by her quote unquote pets.
All right. Cool.
Okay, cool.
All right. Glad she knows what we talk about. No. So you can join us again back in the beginning of October when we're back from our break. Otherwise, we will have some shots coming out for you in the meantime. Every other Wednesday, a shot of astronomy down your gullet from us. We have one coming out on the 27th of August, and then whatever the other in
2 weeks
Wednesday.
after
And whatever.
What are the new ones about, Liz?
We can't tell you.
Ah.
We'll find out. Find out soon. Anyway, follow us. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not doing it in the right order because I'm not looking at my notes. Mike, what are you drinking? Because it's Cosmos with Cosmos, so we got to have some drinks.
Yeah, I'm calling it barbecue. I read the notes.
All right.
Calling it the
Is
barbecue.
it's
Oh, no, our
just
camera
like bacon grease?
froze. Our camera
Yeah,
froze.
why our camera froze?
Well, your camera froze, but your audio is still good. And what matters is people can still see me gesticulate, so we can continue, I think. And now I can't
The
hear
audio
you.
was going to go back for
You
out.
can't
Now,
Now you should be able to
okay,
hear
I
us.
can hear you
Yes,
now.
Yes.
But your camera's still
I know,
frozen.
I know.
But at least y'all look happy.
I think it's I think what it is the USB cable. I think there's an issue with the USB cable. There we go. So we'll see how long that lasts
So I'll be doing this all.
until we freeze
Anyway,
again.
here's my drink. Barbecue.
The
Cheers.
barbecue. Nice. Brandon, what are you drinking? Oh wait, what's in it?
I
Did you
told
say?
you.
Oh well, I was busy troubleshooting technical issues.
It's just peach tea and peach vodka, what you would have at a barbecue.
Okay. Brandon, what do you got?
I went full on basic and lazy and just got a vodka seltzer.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm calling mine the one drink to
Well, you
rule
didn't
them
give a name.
all and in the darkness inebriate you.
Like that.
That's mine, and it is a Mike.
Yeah, it's got a peach puree in it, which is peaches. It had
Tequila.
other stuff in it with the
Sure.
puree. But as far as the drink goes, it's lime juice, puree, and
1 second. My TV turned
tequila.
itself on.
Oh, that's creepy.
All right.
Brandon's got ghosts. But it also has a tagine rim. So it's got a little bit of a nice lime spiciness to it. It's actually called The Devil Will Get You.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like
Devil
that.
Wears Prada.
The Devil Will Get You. Based off a sign in Georgia, I guess. That's like the Devil Will Get You thing. I don't know. Anyway. That's what we're drinking. Follow us on all the things at Cosmos with Cosmos, at Drinking Cosmos on Twitter, Spotify, YouTube, etc. I don't know, wherever you can find us, cosmos.com. Also, check out some of our friends, Wildixia on Etsy, Wildixia, for some really cool artwork by a talented woman. And the MrProctorShow.com for our good buddy Ron Proctor. He does some cool stuff. Blender tutorials, chickens, astronomy stuff, chickens all the way down. It's fantastic. And then, of course, our good buddy Jack, who's out on assignment, so he's not going to be joining us in chat today. He's on vacation in Amsterdam right now, so he's living the good life. And you can
living high in Amsterdam.
You can support his planetarium if you're down in the Council Bluffs, Iowa area. RollingBluffsPlanetarium.com. Check it out. Meanwhile, for this show, we do have, I already promoted the shot earlier, so in the meantime, while you're hanging out with us, listen to our show, we do have some rules, a little drinking game, if you will. If you hear any dogs bark, which may happen, may not happen, we don't know, it depends on the noise cancellation of the microphones, take a drink, and of course, if we make any Star Wars or Lord of the Rings references, also take a drink. Yes?
What was the name of your drink? And not that we'd have to take a drink. What it was?
My name of my drink is the one drink to rule them all and in the darkness inebriate you.
Okay, that's right. That's really good. You didn't write it down.
I did not write it down.
That's a good one.
I did not write it down.
It should be written down.
Okay, well, you can type it in the notes.
I'll let Brandon do it because he's like right there.
He has a keyboard.
Fine.
We can hear him go click-clack on his keyboard. All right. Anyway, are you guys ready to get high in the sky?
Sure.
Yeah, high in the sky, September 2025. And the constellation highlight that I chose for September of 2025 is Pegasus and the Great Square of Pegasus. So Pegasus, I think most people are familiar with Pegasus being a flying horse, a winged horse, if you want to sound fancy
Which is,
with
you
it.
know, that's just science.
It's just science.
All horses have wings.
They all have wings. All the horses. There's
them.
never been a horse that hasn't
All
had
the
wings.
pretty horses.
Yeah, you just give them some Red Bull and they all
Any good literary references, take a drink.
No, I don't get literary references. So the most visible part of Pegasus is what's known as the Great Square. It's the body of Pegasus. There are 4 bright stars that make it up: Markab, Shiat, Algenib, and Alpheratz. And you'll notice most stars are actually Arabic in name, whereas most constellations, at least in the northern hemisphere, are Greek. But the ancient Arabics did a lot of naming and cataloging of stars, and so those names have stuck. The brightest star in Pegasus, however, is its nose. It's the nose of the horse. It's an orange supergiant called Enif. If it was red...
I mean, Rudolph.
Right?
I was just thinking that.
Just thinking.
if it was red.
Or a nice little pimple on the horse.
Pegasus, the
I was thinking
orange-nosed reindeer, maybe? It has wings. It can fly Santa around. I mean, come on. You don't need all these other dingbats. Something my dad would say. I just said a
Dingbats?
phrase. Yeah, it's really something my dad would say.
You have become your father.
Slowly but surely.
In a year, we'll be playing golf all the time.
Oh God, let's hope not. Let's hope not. So in the constellation of Pegasus, there are 12 star systems with exoplanets that have been found.
Oh.
And the first sun-like star discovered with an exoplanet is 51 Pegasi. So yeah, that's cool. Exoplanets, pretty much fucking everywhere is what we're learning.
That's what we're learning.
Once we start looking for them and have the technology to look for them, pretty much everywhere.
I mean, it just lit up.
It's just planet. Anyway, there's also some other deep sky objects in Pegasus, such as M15, which is a globular cluster about 34,000 light years away.
That's not far away at all.
Uh-huh. It's not. It's really not.
Yeah.
Universal scheme of things.
I mean, it's just not even across the street.
Yeah,
it's right over there.
it's just there. And then there's NGC 7331. This is a spiral galaxy 38 million light years away.
A little further away.
A little further. You know, you might want to take some public transit to get there.
But
Walking
who was
is
that
not-
discovered by?
It was discovered by Brandon's favorite, William
Yeah.
Herschel. I added that note just for you, Brandon. I was like, really gotta highlight, give props to Herschel in here. There's also something called Einstein's Cross, and it's a quasar, a quasi-stellar object, a
Interesting,
radio
'cause he was
object.
Jewish.
I know, right? It's Einstein's Cross, and he's Jewish. I don't know. But it's called Einstein's Cross because it is actually seen through gravitational lensing, which Einstein predicted.
Yeah.
In the foreground, so there's a foreground elliptical galaxy, like this big boy galaxy. All right, and that big boy galaxy is bending space-time, right?
Yeah.
And that causes gravity to bend around it, and so light gets bent, and so you see this lensing of stuff behind the object that you can't actually see straight on. It's a weird, like, optical illusion type thing, and so there are four images of the quasar that are basically around this, that are lensed around this galaxy. So 4 points and a cross, I guess, and gravitational lensing being an Einstein thing. So Einstein's cross, there you have it. Bada boom, bada bing. And this quasar is actually 8 billion light years away. It's really, really far. I think the galaxy was like, something like 400 million light years away, somewhere around 400. I didn't put in the notes.
Oh,
Like
the
the foreground
middle.
galaxy is like
Oh,
400
yeah.
million light years away, but this quasar 8 billion light years away. But we can see it.
And those guys put out light. They
Yeah,
put out a lot
yeah.
of light.
That's why we can still see it being that far away, because they're super, super high energy radio
Yep.
sources.
Yep.
Quasi-stellar.
Quasi-stellar radio sources.
And then you also have Stephen's. Is it Stephen or Stephen?
I
It
think
should be
it's
Stephen,
Stevens
'cause you-
You
Quintet.
sure it's not Stefan?
There's no A in
Stefan's
it.
quintet.
Stephen's Quintet. This was actually one of Webb's first images when Webb had its first light. This is one of the things they decided to image as one of its first pictures. It's not the first time a picture has been taken of it, but it was one of.
Steven took it.
Yeah. It was one of Webb's. So this is actually a cluster of 5 galaxies that are 300 million light years away, and it was discovered by Edorod Stephen. It was probably Stefan. He's French, so it's probably
Stefan.
Stefan
Oh.
in 1877. And it's predicted that all 5 of these galaxies will eventually merge together.
See,
into
I
a
always
galaxy.
I always assumed, wrongly apparently, that when multiple galaxies merge, they become just in the regular galaxy and not a particular shape like elliptical.
Well,
Well, at first it's irregular.
I guess
all
over
that-
like
then
6
gravity
billion
will
years.
settle down.
yeah, and then gravity makes it just a big ball of stars.
Yeah, things are gonna make it settle.
And it'll turn into a large elliptical galaxy. So elliptical galaxies, like space footballs of stars.
But it's gonna have an angry phase there at first before it settles down.
Yeah, but it's gonna look beautiful as it's all merging together. It already does look beautiful.
I can't wait to see it. When it's merged.
I didn't put any pictures in the show, so just Google Stephen's Quintet.
But then she complains that, like, Brandon, you and I don't pick out pictures.
Well, if you wanted pictures, you gotta let me know. I was just like, I don't put any pictures in it. Anyway.
We're typically finishing those like up until the last second of the show.
Yeah, pretty much. So, of course, with every constellation, right, we're still talking about Pegasus. This is all in the constellation, or in the direction of Pegasus, I should say. It's not, everything's spread apart. It's not like it's a flat surface that we're looking at. But, of course, there's a lot of mythology behind the constellations that we like to just kind of highlight a couple fun things. So, in Babylonian, it was known as Iku, which is just a field. It was just a
Okay.
field.
Oh, because a big square.
Field. Yeah,
Makes sense, yeah.
a big square. But
Big baseball field.
4 stars.
Ooh.
It was made up of 4 stars, and then 3 of those 4 stars apparently became part of Pegasus for the Greeks, which is the most commonly known thing about Pegasus. There's a Greek myth about it. Of course, the Greeks had various myths about it. For Greeks, Pegasus actually was Hippos, Hippos, so nothing to do with hippos or hippopotamuses.
Or golden hippopotamuses.
Or golden hippopotamuses. Ugh, but
Bastards.
hippos. And so here's one that I never heard. There's a spring on Mount Helicon called the Hippocrene, and so the myth is that the hooves of Pegasus dug it out, and those that drank from it were blessed with the ability to write poetry.
That's awesome. I've never heard that.
What, like, a random thing to be blessed from a spring. Not like eternal life, not like good health or anything, just you can write poems now.
And that it was the hooves of a flying horse that did the trick for it? Like, all right. And how did that
Like, it's
align with poetry?
It's
I don't
just
know.
stamping in the ground. I don't know. Winged horses are
I'm
poetic.
gonna have Stephanie go there.
There
She's
you
gonna
go.
be in Europe. I'm like, you can just
Go to the Hippocrene.
and then you like to write poetry.
Yeah,
Here, so
take a little
so-
sip. You know, maybe use a life straw just so you don't know if there's any, you know, of the giardia or anything in it. I don't know how fresh it is. You know, but yeah, and then you can just write poetry. You can rhyme well.
Okay.
Okay. So that was an interesting one. Now, the other one for Pegasus, or the kind of the most popular one, is Chiron. I didn't say I'm Chiron. I like it. Is that Pegasus was born from Medusa's blood after Perseus cut off her head
Wiped off that
on
head.
his mission to save Cassiopeia. And
Nope, not saving Cassiopeia.
not Cassiopeia, Andromeda.
Yep.
Andromeda.
There we go.
You know, they're all together. So then Pegasus, after he was like, cool, glad to help you, dude, Perseus, he became the horse for this dude Bellerophon and helped him kill the Chimera, which is a monster and also a band.
A lot of
Yeah,
killing.
how long was Pegasus alive for before he's put up in the sky? Like, what are we talking, decades, centuries here? Because he's showing up in a lot of things.
He's killing a lot of things too. He's part of a lot of murder.
And I'm demanding answers from Liz right now, so I should take a drink.
I don't know.
It's at least 27 days for sure.
It happens, I think.
42
It happens
Pegasi
sometimes.
life units.
Sometime after he helped Bellerophon. You know what? So here's part of the story that happened. So Bellerophon was gonna go up to like Zeus, right? And Zeus was like, I'm not having this shit. And so he sent a fly down to start biting Pegasus. So Pegasus bucked his ass off and he fell back down to Earth. And I'm assuming that then, you know, Zeus was like, oh, Pegasus, you're cool. And he put him in the stars. Let's remember you forever because you're an awesome horse.
Well, I mean, he can fly.
He can fly. It's a
That's pretty
high
cool.
mileage horse. High mileage horse. He gets around. He helps you kill shit because he can fly, right? Now,
I bet your mom wants a horse that's got wings.
oh my god, my mom would
They'd
like
be
any horse.
they'd
right,
probably be
Mom?
too difficult to keep, right?
Well, yeah, you'd have to have a full enclosed pen.
Yeah, and at that
You
point, it's
know?
just mean.
And then it's
Yeah, she
like,
could
yeah.
do it.
Well, unless they're trained well and they want to stick around, you know.
You know, she'd want a horse with wings and an Aussie with wings. I mean, she's got one.
Oh
for,
my god, can you
if
imagine
you put,
Mira
like,
with wings?
if you
This
put, like,
2-year-old
some
Aussie with
fixed
wings, she'd be
wings.
flying around all over the place.
Yeah.
Never get her back. Are you kidding me? Oh, jeez. All right, so in Chinese mythology, it's known as the black tortoise of the North.
Hey.
North.
Okay.
And then there's some other stuff with like buildings that line up with it or whatever, and I just can't.
I mean, Chinese have so much stuff.
And then this one is for you, Mike.
It's for me.
This one's for Mike. The Warao and Arawak people in Guyana, the Great Square, and parts of Pegasus and Andromeda, they are a barbecue taken up to the sky by 7 humans
hell yeah.
of the myth Siratigio.
So here's the question: when you're reading it,
Uh-huh.
do they cook the meat in the sauce? That is
All
important.
they said was barbecue was taken up. It could be whatever. Yes, let's say they cooked it in the sauce. You know,
I hope so. I hope so.
since they use the term barbecue and not
All right.
grilling.
700s of the myth of
Siratigio. I didn't look up what the myth was, but I just was like, oh, barbecue. It's barbecue. So now you can look up at Pegasus and just be like, barbecue. Ron says Pegasus consumes a lot of jet fuel, not a practical mode of transportation. No, you really want to use like solar power, right? That's like the most efficient. Its wings though could have solar panels.
Solar wings. Yeah.
Solar wings.
Yeah,
solar wings of the solar wings of Pegasus. I like this. I like this a lot. All right.
I have to watch Clash of the Titans now.
Just think of that.
Every time we mention any character from Clash of the Titans, we're always like, we gotta watch Clash of the
We gotta watch. It's been a while.
I absolutely love that movie. I mean, as a kid watching it was just
the claymation,
great.
the stop
it's the
motion,
best.
the mechanical owl, mechanical
owl,
right?
The mechanical owl, just all of that. It was great.
Yeah. This is the 1980 version, everybody, or whatever.
They ruined it.
Not this newfangled, new age one. All right, now Pegasus isn't the only thing in the nighttime sky, obviously. There's other stuff up there. I don't know why I censored myself. Our podcast, other shit up there. Such as planets. Now, September, not a great month for a ton of planets that are up at night. However,
right after sunset, nope.
Jupes will be up after in the east around 2 a.m. So it's going to be earlier in the morning that it will be up. However, there is one planet that will be up all night long.
I was wondering if you can do that.
All night. And that is Saturn.
Hey.
Saturn is gracing our September skies all night. And on the 21st of September, it will be at opposition, meaning on the opposite side of the sun from the Earth. So it's like Sun, Earth, Saturn. So it'll be bright, and it's also closest to us in its orbit. So it'll it's a good time. It's one of the best times to see Saturn. So the 21st of September.
Biggest
for
and
that.
brightest in your telescope.
Yeah.
Yes.
See those
Did you
wings.
did you guys see Jupiter and Venus close approach to each other this month?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like they were within like a couple of finger lengths,
Oh, nice.
finger widths of each other. It was very nice.
What day was that on? When was that?
It was like last week.
Oh gosh, we're just so busy. Anyway, let's see. So just Saturn up, but there's some celestial events that will be happening, such as on September 7th. We have not just a full moon, but a full moon with a total lunar eclipse. That's
Hey.
right. Now it's normally this full
Reference.
moon is normally known as the corn moon because it's like, hey, it's
Oh,
time
that's
to
not what
harvest
you
the
got
corn.
written down.
But because it's
Oh,
also
there we
a
go.
full moon, it's a bloody corn moon. Yeah, that's right. Total lunar eclipses are known as blood moons. They don't go completely dark like the sun does in a total solar eclipse, but they get very like reddish and brownish depending on the amount of particulates in the atmosphere that affects the actual color and the deepness, richness of the red, I should say.
It's crazy. I just had this conversation with Susanna today.
Oh yeah, because she did a
She's
painting
drawing a picture
of a blood moon.
of a blood moon, and she was having a hard time getting the color right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but to
You could
be
just
fair
tell
for
her.
her,
Depends
it's a
on the atmosphere.
it's a very difficult color to.
Yeah. But, okay, don't get too excited because it will be visible throughout all of Asia and Australia and the central and eastern parts of Europe and Africa. So not
that's
for
what-
North
that's-
America.
Now, if you live there, you could be excited.
Yeah, you can be excited
Yeah,
if you live
and,
there.
and to be fair, that's what most of our fan base is. So I think we're
Yes,
speaking
yes.
to the right people.
That moon is just going to weege. It's going to weege.
Weech.
Weege. The shadow's
been
going
a
to
while.
weege. Shadow weege over the moon? No. But on the 21st of September, again, the 21st of September comes back. Not only is Saturn at opposition, but there will be a partial solar eclipse during the new moon, because the moon is in between the Earth and the Sun. This will be visible in New Zealand, Antarctica, and the Southern Pacific Ocean, and it will be best seen from New Zealand with 76%
We gotta
coverage.
go.
We gotta go. We gotta do
We
it.
have to do this.
Okay, yeah.
Brandon and I can get
Right.
free flights.
So we'll change our flight from going from back home from London to
Yeah.
then just detouring
We'll just
to
do-
New
yeah, we'll
Zealand.
You gotta
There
you
you
gotta
go.
circumnavigate. You gotta Magellan this.
And of course,
I want the miles.
on September 22nd, happy fall!
Hey,
It's the
fall's coming.
autumnal
Equinox.
equinox. So yay, made it past another
Everybody
summer.
in Phoenix is like, "What's that?"
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay. And that's basically all the sky events for September. No meteor showers. The Oranids start up in October, so we'll be back to talk about those when we're back from our break. But otherwise, that's it. So now it's time for astronomy news.
Hey, I didn't think we were doing astronomy.
I decided to do a couple articles of astronomy news and then we'll get into some other things. Okay.
There's 4.
Okay, well, it'll go fast. Whatever. I just thought, it's nice to share some news items. Okay, so this first item that I found on, this is from the Center for Astrophysics, the Harvard and Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. Okay. So I think it's got some legitimacy.
You know who worked there?
To it.
Vera Rubin.
Oh, well, check out our episode on Vera Rubin. So the article is AI helps discover a new type of supernova.
Oh.
Now, I'm not super supportive of AI or the biggest fan because I'm becoming a curmudgeon-y old person now.
However, using correct ways like this,
yes,
it can be
beneficial.
positive.
So this what they saw was this basically the supernova SN 2023 ZKD. So it was discovered actually in 2023. It takes a while to process the data and combine your research and put it out and publish it and everything like that. It is 730 million light years away, so pretty far away. And basically what they believe happened, it was a massive star exploded while trying to swallow a black hole companion. And the black hole always wins in this situation.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, so, star going around black hole.
Yeah.
Star, visible star, says, hey, I'm going to eat the black hole.
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
And so it tries to eat it, and the black hole makes it explode.
Yeah.
That is
It's
super
like a dog
cool.
eating chocolate.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
So what this research team developed was an AI algorithm that was designed to scan for unusual explosions in real time. And it first detected it was able to first detect the explosion and give like an early alert that astronomers could then do immediate follow-up observations. So they it alerted to like some unusual activity, which allowed them to like basically go, hey, telescopes, let's look over here. And then they were able to see like the explosion happen basically. Alexander Gagliano is the lead author of the study. He said it was flagged months before its most unusual behavior, which gave them time to get the observations needed. Now, an alternate option for what happened was that the black hole actually tore the star apart before the star exploded. So that's an alternate hypothesis to what could have happened. Either way, a heavier black hole was left behind due to the event.
He did some eating.
It's
like
got some good barbecue in the sky.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
like I'm gonna do tonight.
Black holes tend to be fairly ravenous and all-consuming.
And they can also sleep for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
Once you get the big meal in you.
Yeah, I know. They hibernate for a bit, and then they get hungry again. They're like big bears.
Big space bears.
Space bears.
I want to say big bear. That's not Ursa Major in the sky. I want to see an Ursa Major in the Shire.
All right. Next one. This one obviously chosen for some obvious reasons. Astronomers spot the Eye of Sauron in deep space. This is from the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy. They captured the image of the origin of a cosmic jet. So we see these sort of cosmic jets that are just high energy radiation that's streaming through space. And they were able to find the origin because that jet it happens to be pointed directly towards the Earth, so we can essentially look down the barrel of it to the origin. So it's kind of a lucky view that we have. And when they did the imaging and computer simulations, I guess it apparently looked like the Eye of Sauron. I kind of didn't see it in the image when that was used in the article. I was like, okay, all right. It's called PKS 1424240. It is the brightest neutrino-emitting object of its kind, but its radio jet was slower than it should have been for such a high-energy object. And so what they found was, by looking basically, again, down the barrel of this cosmic jet, was ring-shaped magnetic fields, which created an environment that acted like a spring that can accelerate particles to high energies, so high neutrinos and high gamma radiation. And because that jet is aligned with Earth, it has 30 times more, has 30 times more brightness. So it appears to move slowly, and that apparent slowness is just an optical illusion, basically. It's not actually moving.
I like how Brandon and I both copied the name to look
exactly
it up.
what happens.
We're both gonna look this shit up.
So that's it. That's the Eye of Sauron in space, and I will drink from the one drink.
I mean, okay.
No, I'm just drinking from the one drink. I forgot. I guess we should have said that doesn't count as a Lord of the Rings reference.
When it's embedded into the story, it doesn't feel like it counts.
Yeah, no, that's just when we're being like dorky and nerdy. All right, next one. Scientists just recreated the universe's first ever molecules, and the results challenge our understanding of the early cosmos. This is from space.com, which was originally from livescience.com, I guess a sister site of theirs. So researchers, they're like, hey, let's have some fun and recreate universe's first molecules by mimicking the conditions of the early universe. So like, hey guys, let's make things real super fucking cold. And let's try to see what's going on back then, 13.8 billion years ago. And what they found, and I quote from the article, calls for a reassessment of the helium chemistry in the early universe. Ooh.
I like that kind of stuff.
So they had a helium hydride ion, or HEH+, which was the first ever molecule. And it was needed to form molecular hydrogen, which is the most abundant molecule in the universe, element in the universe. So they recreated early helium hydride reactions by storing the ions. By the way, we have the ability to just like, hey guys, here's some ions we're storing. They stored ions at negative 449 degrees Fahrenheit. For up to 60 seconds to cool them down before forcing them to collide with heavy hydrogen.
Okay, think about that though. They're being held at minus 260. Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind. I thought they were cooling it down even further from that. No, they cooled it down to that.
They cooled it down to that, and then they're like, all right, let's slam them into some other shit.
Let's see what happens.
Things we can't even see.
And like, at that, how do you make something negative 450 degrees Fahrenheit? Like that's not, you can't do that with ice. Put it in the freezer for a while. Like, dear Lord.
They just got a bunch of dry ice.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you just remove energy from the system.
Yeah, you got to remove everything. Yeah.
How do you remove the energy from the system? So,
Look, I don't know. Okay, so they had these ions collide with heavy hydrogen. They studied how the collisions, similar to those that kickstart fusion in a star, changed depending on the temperature of the particles. So they found that the reaction rates between these particles do not slow down at lower temperatures, which apparently contradicts what was previously assumed, that the colder it is, the slower these particles are going to move. Okay. But apparently not.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yeah. That's it.
This is on space.com?
This is on space.com. Yeah, so you can read more into that fancy physics, man.
I
figured you would be interested in that. So it's interesting because, you know, we have it just shows that our understanding of the universe isn't complete in any way, shape, or form, that we're still learning, and new technologies and processes allow us to do further research to understand better and more about the universe we live in.
I love all this shit where it's like, where what they say is like, calls for a reassessment of the helium chemistry. I mean, because it's like, it's just what we understood is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Or
a little off, or you know, it's yeah.
I don't know.
Which then, I mean, does that mean that maybe that allows star formation to maybe happen earlier Then if it's, I don't know what the my brain
Implications?
isn't that. This is above my level of
But I mean, the
comprehension.
thing is, though, is this is not the conditions of the early universe.
Well, it's a they're just trying to recreate temperatures at this point. I mean, you can't
Right, right.
do a
It's,
one-to-one recreation of the early
it's like
universe.
scientists make a diorama with like cardboard pictures of what the early universe looks like, and this is the conditions they was in. And stick the hydrogen in there.
They have the little like ions hanging from strings in the diorama, and then they shake it, and that has them collide with the heavier ones.
Oh my god!
Oh,
You know,
I want to do this.
it for every scientific explanation that we do here, we should do like little shoebox
A diorama?
dioramas where it's just little balls on a string and
Yes.
we're just shaking stuff. That would be fun.
We don't buy enough shoes.
If we get enough boxes that come in.
Take a drink for Brandon yelling at Frodo.
Can you all be right back?
Okay.
Oh.
He's got dog stuff to. Meanwhile, I'll go into the next news article since I know Brandon's going to want to be around for the next section.
Take your time.
This is from sciencenews.org. I didn't vet the site, but it ends with a .org, so I was like, well, it's got to be relatively decent. But the oldest known black hole formed more than 13...
Meanwhile, we tell your mom vet the sources.
Well,
Here we are adding this.
I didn't get it off of Facebook, so,
That's true. That's true.
The oldest known black hole formed more than 13.3 billion years ago. It's known as Kuiper's LRDZ9. And so astronomers, they saw gas swirling at thousands of kilometers per second, which is pretty much the smoking gun of a black hole.
Yeah.
That there's a black hole there. And what they actually did was they looked at a James Webb image, and there was a tiny speck of a red dot. A tiny
Red dot, a pixel.
Consider again that tiny red dot.
a tiny speck. And they're like, we're studying this object. And so upon further study, they discovered the gas swirling around real fast. They're like, ooh, that looks like a black hole. That's a telltale sign. And the mass was 38 million suns. So, pretty
Supermassive, not stellar mass.
So yeah, that's indicative of a black hole territory, and it basically they're seeing it at 500 million years after the Big Bang. So it's an old black hole.
Is that the I don't know how to properly say this. The oldest thing in the universe is that one black hole still in existence? Because it's still hanging out around there.
Oh, yeah, that black hole.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
The decay rate isn't for what, trillions of years?
Yeah.
for
So
black
is that
hole,
like is that like the oldest known thing?
No.
No, because there's galaxies that are older.
All right. Okay.
Right. But those
This
galaxies are comprised of different stars that have since expired themselves. And whereas this black hole has been a singular object since 500 million
All
after
right.
the Big Bang.
Okay. First of all, there are galaxies that they've discovered that are even younger than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this black hole is in a
But-
galaxy.
But
I'm assuming.
Brandon brings up an interesting question:
Ooh.
is how do you define things? Because you could technically say cosmic background radiation is a thing, it's light
Right.
from the Big Bang, but whatever. And so but this might be the oldest black hole that is
I'll need to
discovered.
think of a better
Well,
way to
it
word
does say
that
the
question.
oldest known black hole formed more
Okay.
than 13.3 billion years ago. So
Yeah.
it is the oldest known black hole.
But I think we have something that has a record. I think it's like a little galaxy or something.
Yeah, it's not the oldest.
No.
Object. known
But
object.
that galaxy has been refreshing itself basically with stars for the last X amount of billions of years, whereas this black hole has just been its own object for those 13.3 billion years, if that makes sense.
Right, but for that yeah, so it's replacing. All right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
That's why I said thing. I couldn't think of the proper words for it.
But that said, whatever stars that are in that picture now, a lot of them are gone, but they have left behind stuff. And so that galaxy,
Yeah, what, there's some brown dwarfs out there still hanging around, for example.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
But
All right.
also the stars that are there that have gone boom, they've left behind either neutron stars or black holes,
Yeah,
things like
okay.
that. And so, yeah, I mean, still it's pretty old.
Pretty old.
Yeah. Or is it like, or is it young? How do you say it? Because right now,
Well, we're seeing it's old now, but we're seeing it when it was younger.
when I was a baby.
Yeah, but it's old now. But it's
Old.
still old. It's still old
Yeah.
because we're living in our current time. In fact, check out our episode on time.
Oh, that's got to be a drinking thing now. Where anytime we say it, we got to take a drink.
All right. The final section of today's High in the Sky episode today is an in memoriam, and this is a special in memoriam
Yeah.
to one of the greats that we lost this past 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, and that is an in memoriam to Jim Lovell. Cheers to astronaut
Cheers.
Jim Lovell. So Jim Lovell passed away on August 7th. He was 97 years old, so quite a
Oh my
long
God.
life he led. An extraordinary life that he led. If you're unfamiliar with Jim Lovell, then just watch Apollo 13 and Tom Hanks is
Yeah.
Jim
And
Lovell.
anytime you're played by Tom Hanks, you're
doing
done
all right.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
you're doing okay.
You've done
You're
pretty
doing
good.
okay.
In a biopic.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But he was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1928. And apparently, I found the story in an article where he attempted to make a rocket at 16. Like, he was super into rocketry. So he, like, got the ingredients for gunpowder. Not just gunpowder. He got, like, somehow got individual ingredients to gunpowder. Packed them in this 3-foot tube, went out into a field, lit a match, and it lifted 80 feet up in the air before exploding.
That's pretty good.
I mean, if he had packed it just a little bit differently or used a different, like, combination of ingredients, it would have just exploded, like, right there.
But can we unpack this for a second?
Yeah.
1944.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
You're 16 years old, and you can just go get the ingredients
sure.
for gunpowder.
Probably down at the local Ace Hardware. I don't know. Probably. It's easy enough to get, apparently, that he can just go on out and wherever in Ohio and just, hey, I'm making
All
a
right.
rocket. And he said, according to him, boys like either dinosaurs or airplanes. I was very much an airplane boy.
Oh.
Which, yeah, definitely checks out. He ended up going into the Navy. His father passed away when he was a kid, and so they couldn't afford for him to go to college, basically. So he decided to go into the Navy, and he became a pilot in the Navy. And in 1962, he was selected by NASA. He had applied in 1958. Of course, his love of rocketry still going strong. He ended up becoming a backup pilot for Gemini 4 and a backup commander for Gemini 9. He was the backup commander for Armstrong for Apollo 11. But in December 1965, he launched with Frank Borman in Gemini 7. This was the first rendezvous of a two-manned maneuverable spacecraft in space. He commanded Gemini 12, which was the last of the Gemini missions. And then he commanded the module pilot, and he was the navigator for Apollo 8 in 1968. This was our maiden voyage to the moon. This was the first time that human beings have left the gravitational influence of the Earth, and he was one of those humans.
And they got mighty close to the moon.
Mighty close to the moon. Didn't land on the moon.
Like, how close?
Oh, I think it was within a couple dozen miles, remember correctly?
That's gotta
Right?
suck.
Yeah.
Like
That's
right
gotta
there.
suck.
Like, oh god.
I mean, it's like right
I
there.
could practically touch it.
Yeah, it's right. Oh, okay.
It's right there. This mission was also the first use of the Saturn V rocket, which
Oh.
is what was used to take humans to the moon and back again. So Apollo 13, of course, very famous because of the 1995 movie, largely, but
It was famous before that.
it was famous
Yeah.
before then.
It was made into a movie for a reason.
Before, you know, modern more recent generations, I would say. This was in 1970. He was actually the first person to journey to the moon twice. However,
and not get there either time.
However, of course, Houston, we've had a problem. He said, Swigert, I don't know if Swigert's first name. I don't know. Jack Swigert. He said, I believe we've had a problem here, and Lovell had to repeat the message to his son to mission control. Houston, we've had a problem. Like, we're not good, boys, not good. There was a failure with the service module cryogenic oxygen system. So they had to convert the lunar module, which was designed to, was that the one designed to land on the moon? Mm-hmm. Into basically a lifeboat that they could survive in space in and return to Earth. And so his book was Lost Moon, The Perilous Voyage of Apollo 13, and that book of his became the basis of the movie Apollo 13.
And really quick, just to make us feel bad, the release of that movie is closer in time to Apollo 13 than we are to the movie's release.
Why? Why? Why do you gotta do that, man? Huh. Anyway, when they were filming that movie, he was asked to do a cameo in the movie, and he was asked to be an admiral that was shaking hands with Tom Hanks in the scene where they were rescued, and he basically was like, nope. He said, I retired as a captain, and a captain I will be. So he is in the movie in a cameo, but he is as a captain as he was.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. In 1973, he retired from the Navy and the space program. He then had regular jobs. He joined the Bay Houston Towing Company. He was a president of Fisk Telephone Systems and a VP of Central Corporation. And he was, and I quote this was from a NASA article, he was known for his wit. This unforgettable astronaut was nicknamed Smilin' Jim by his fellow astronauts because he was quick with a grin when he had a particularly funny comeback. And his family says, we will miss him. We will miss his unshakable optimism, his sense of humor, and the way he made each of us feel we could do the impossible. He was truly one of a kind. So cheers to Jim Lovell. Thank you for your service. Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
And that's it. That's our episode of High in the Sky for September 2025. The last episode of season 6. Again, we will return the beginning of October. I believe October 5th.
October
5th. We will be back at you with another live episode. In the meantime, we will have some shots coming out every other Wednesday, so you can check that out for your little astronomy fix for you. In the meantime, follow us on all the things. Cosmos Cosmos, at Drinking Cosmos, cosmoscosmos.com. And, of course, we do have the hangovers as well. So
we'll see how well that goes.
The hangover for this show, if you can check it out only on YouTube or when you watch us live, and it will be the inaugural episode of our book club for Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Cheers.
If you're with us live, stick around for the hangover while we prepare for the book club and get a book.
And go read the book.
And finish reading the book. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Is the Voyager of the team.
And that is because Mike got the farthest in the book. Welcome to The Hangover with Cosmos in our first inaugural edition of Cosmos with Cosmos Book Club, where nobody finished the book that we had given ourselves to read.
I was close.
That's not because it wasn't a good book.
No. It was a long
It was just
book.
the size of Lord of the Rings.
It was a long book, and I'm also not good at sticking with reading things. So that's my problem, but that's my issue. Anyway, the book that we read mostly, was Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen. It's basically kind of a historical history of our sun and its influence on
I feel like a
society.
student in high school is gonna bullshit their way through.
This is what
That's,
it is.
that's
I was like, why
yeah.
did we gave ourselves like homework? I don't like to be forced to do homework.
So I mean, reading's fun, of course. We like reading, we like books, we like the sun, we like space, so it kind of all made sense.
But I also was reading other stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Right. So what this book kind of does, like Liz was talking about, it looks at the sun, not literally, because you don't want to do that with your eyes, and breaks up into what different cultures thought about it, what we knew about the sun through different cultures as well, and throughout time. And then throughout the book, he kind of interjects his own little stories with pilgrimages he makes to go see eclipse, for example, to go see a solstice in certain locations.
Right.
So it has a nice like travel documentary flair to it in certain sections, but also the history doesn't get too bogged down in you're reading a history lesson. It's still kind of a fun read.
Right. Yeah. It's also like how the sun has influenced human civilization
Oh yeah.
from the dawn of written history to today.
It's basically the author going like, why is the sun so important? And let me find out and write it all down here.
And
like, let me compile why it's been so meaningful.
So when we think about like the sun and how it might have influenced society, obviously the first thing that you come up with is religions. It completely was there in religion, but he also explores how the sun influenced music, operas, literature, poems, and art. Goes into like Van Gogh and has a Jack Kerouac reference in there, which I was happy about. And so it's just you don't realize, you take for granted how much the sun has played a role in civilization.
Would you say that this book tries to take the sun out of the darkness?
Hey, there you go. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, like all aspects of our existence.
Well, yeah, I mean, we depend on the sun for
Everything.
being alive. And life on Earth, so it makes sense, and it's a constant routine thing every day. The sun rises and the sun sets. The sun rises and the sun sets. It's a constant throughout in all of human civilization, the history of the Earth. The sun is ever present.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about specific civilizations or stories, but let me kind of ask this first question. Did reading this book at all change the way or make you rethink or think about the sun in a different way you hadn't in a while? Because we do take the sun for granted, of course.
Yeah, I think we take it for granted. Okay, so a lot of what... All right, so music I listen to doesn't talk about the sun that much at all, And so it's interesting, or like,
There's no punk song ode to the sun?
There's no punk ode to the sun. Ode to the darkness, maybe. but the thing is like, like books that we might read outside of like Chasing of the Sun, right? And so are going to be sci-fi books, maybe, let's say, typically, and the sun or the stars and those have very different roles in the plot. Like in Red Mars, they try to put mirrors up to enhance the suns, But that that's just a plot device,
That's
right?
just using the sun. Using the sun.
I thought. Okay.
Is They Might Be Giants a punk band? Or are they just a?
All right.
They're some cool guys.
I'm gonna say what I always say is like how you define punk. You ask 100 people what punk is, you get 100 different answers.
It's also a very educational song.
Yeah. So
they're an educational punk alt rock band.
But it was interesting, like how he brought in how the sun was in like opera, which is not something I typically. Well, something I don't listen to.
Yeah, typically
There's no
I've never.
typical, so that implies that there might be like the occasional.
My opera club is on break at the moment.
Or like how it was a device in books and stuff like that, and how it represents different things, and the list of music I listen to. So I don't know. I just thought it was like really interesting how the sun touches absolutely everything. All right, so I don't think you guys got to it, but even like the previous, two popes ago, how he like the Benedict the 16th or whatever his name was.
That weird looking one. He looked like a gremlin.
Yeah,
okay. That's the one.
Gremlin, the really old guy.
He's still kicking around.
He was like 112 when he became pope in the first place. But anyway, so like how he basically redefined the sun in the Catholic Church and things like that. And I was like, oh, my parents would be interested in this, but I don't know. I guess I took for granted how much the sun touches everything, and he just really lays it out, like Japan and how important it was.
Land of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, and how the emperor of Japan was tied to the sun, and even goes so far as to talk about his speech that he gave in 1946, the emperor, where he said that I'm not a descendant of the sun or whatever it is. But if you like actually look at the Japanese, they basically changed it, and he didn't say what MacArthur wanted him to say. If you look at like the Japanese.
Yeah, I mean the sun is a huge. I mean you don't even need to read the book to even just kind of think about it, how the sun's influence on everything is. I mean, if you're looking at ancient cultures, I mean the sun is it's everything. It's timekeeping. It's it's the reason for being. Whereas I'd say the meaning of the sun has transitioned from being like this kind of something to worship and something that you're using for agricultural time. I mean, of course, we are still using the sun for time through the various development of calendars and timekeeping pieces through the 1600s and so forth. But it evolved in a way where the sun then became more like a poetic thing, and something that is for art and culture, and given this these deeper meanings and poetry and all that kind of thing versus maybe more of a utility use in the past.
I mean, I really enjoyed the book. I still have like 90 pages left. And I stopped when I knew I wasn't going to finish the book, with the last part, which is basically the future of the sun.
Yeah, we all know what's going to happen.
Right, but I think this looks at a very like Earth, like humanity centric lens, and so I'm gonna finish it, and then I guess we'll go to our next book, but. It's I enjoyed it. It's very interesting book.
So I did as far as through the amount that I read, I did make highlights throughout it.
It's called Chasing the Sun.
and
Pretty much.
why
Oh, there you
why I didn't decide to do like notes while I was reading, which I should, because I when I read, and if it's for something like this, I really need to take like handwritten notes on stuff rather than highlighting something and go, I'll remember why I highlighted that. That'll make sense. So I figured as we talk, I can like go through some of my, we can go through some of maybe our highlights or whatever that, and try to figure out what we were thinking when we were highlighted. But my very first highlight is mosquito energy.
Well, that's just fun.
Yeah,
That's just fun.
I was like, yeah,
You don't need a reason for that.
you got that mosquito energy. But it is basically saying that for that every second 5 million metric tons of mass are converted into nuclear energy. This is inside the sun, equivalent to the detonation of 90 billion 1 megaton hydrogen bombs. So that's 3.8 times 10 to the 33 ergs. 1 erg is roughly the amount of energy of a mosquito needs to take off. And I thought that was very interesting because I was like, who's calculated the amount of energy a mosquito needs to take off?
Well, it didn't originate. Yeah. Okay, fair. True.
So I was like, oh man, I never thought about that mosquito energy before. And that's bringing mosquitoes in the sun together.
It's a pretty straightforward calculation, to be honest. But
yeah, but who's going like, I wonder how much energy
Nerds.
a mosquito needs?
It is a first-year physics student that is having to calculate that. That's exactly who's doing it. They're required to do it. That's good.
Do you have a good highlight? You want me to keep going on some highlights?
Well, I don't know where you are, but I can tell you why I picked this one. And it was because I think we had started the conversation with a colleague of mine about showing Art Reimagined. And so I had, I have said that art and science are two sides of the same coin. Where both are looking for beauty in the universe. One sees it objectively, one sees it subjectively. And so I had never seen this quote or heard this person, but heard of this person. But this is from an English essayist and poet, Leigh Hunt, who lived from 1784 to 1859, so good long life. There are two worlds: the world that we can measure with line and rule, so objective science, and the rule we fill with our hearts and imagination, so art. So I just said that this was a great art science quote showing two sides, same coin.
You know, it's funny because I also highlighted something and made a note about art and science going hand in hand, and I highlighted just a little phrase that said "sun's place in art." And so the author, he went to visit New York's public library, and he found over 5,800 titles under sun as the category. He says, but none uttered both the excitement of scientific discovery and an exploration of the sun's place in art, religion, literature, mythology, politics. And so he wanted to know about like the Great Solar Temple, Mozart celebrating the sun and the magic flute, and that sort of thing. And so, that just shows bringing together that the sun is something of science, right? We study it in scientific purposes. It serves a very specific purpose in our solar system and in the universe, but we have, as a culture, made art out of it, like we can do with anything that is scientific. So that's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's art in like all kinds of art. I mean, sure, we talked about like in operas because we all listen to opera, but it's our favorite genre. But he even goes so far as to paintings, Van Gogh, Matisse, all those guys, but then he brings in, because you've been doing it a lot, like photography, and how, you bring the sun in with photography and how people are taking photographs of it. And then that goes into from still frames to frames in motion, so film. And, how do you fake the sun? It used to be that, like, how you hear like a director go, hey, we're losing sunlight. Well, that was like a really important thing at the dawn of movies.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have
lights.
They didn't have the big lights to fake the sun.
Right.
And like light bulbs that fake the sun back in the 1920s, like one bulb was like 1 foot long. So big bulb. And you have to have multiple of those just to fake the sun. And can you ever really fake it? The sun has a certain, like regular lights, certain
gravitas.
artificialness.
Nice.
Anyway, whatever. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
About that particular quote, or should I go off to a new highlight?
Go off to your
new highlight.
Go off to your
Alright,
new highlight.
So here's a fun one. This was kind of explaining what people generally thought of the sun for a couple of hundred years. Generally speaking, Christian man saw himself as a degraded and miserable creature whose only hope was in prayer and penitence, and as one to whom a rational understanding of the motions of the planets was supremely irrelevant.
Nice. Yes.
Very Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Sherlock.
This is actually, and this was actually a quote from somebody else that he referenced in it. Professor John North, Trinity College, Cambridge, is where that quote came from.
I'm looking through my.
Yeah, how do book clubs work? This feels really so disjointed.
It really depends on the type of club and if people have finished the book. Like my original drink name before I just got a seltzer was the Pink Monkey, because if you remember back in high school, you go to pinkmonkey.com and that'll give you book summaries. Is that too much of a throwback?
I never heard of it.
I never had it either.
Never.
But I'm old.
It was. I did like the Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes, yeah.
Cliff
That's basically what Pink Monkey was.
Okay.
It's seriously Cliff Notes.
Okay.
Well, the good news is
oh my god, I should have Cliff Noted. What am I doing?
Yeah, the good news is nobody other than Katie has read this book. Because I think Katie said, "Oh yeah, I read that back. I don't know, whatever."
Yeah.
But, so we could get away with saying anything.
Okay, let's see.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. This is really.
All right,
This is fun.
We promise our listeners will do better in the next.
This highlight,
Yes.
it's just fun looking through the highlights that I did, and I'm like, ooh, why was this funny to me at this time, or why was this interesting? So this one is about kind of some traditions and festivals around the sun, because people throughout history, there's always been festivals and traditions that are centered around
any
the sun.
reason to drink, we'll take it.
Any reason to drink, like the winter solstice, the summer solstice, and all the equinoxes and all of that stuff. This talks about the Aztecs. So he says, the Aztecs, who believed that the heart held fragments of the sun's heat.
Okay, hold on. Say it again.
The Aztecs believed that the heart held fragments of the sun's heat.
That's fun.
Ensured his continual well-being by tearing out this vital organ from hunchbacks, dwarves, or prisoners of war, so releasing the divine sun fragments entrapped by the body it desires.
Listen, that's just hardcore.
So, I mean, we've heard about sacrifices from ancient South American cultures, and hearts being at the center of it. And I had never heard before that that it has to do, that at least for the Aztecs it had to do with the sun, and that the heart contained solar heat fragments, which was very interesting. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my god. Okay, all right. Yeah, I never heard that either. But interesting.
So just an example of some of the
Hey, we're gonna blame these sacrifices on the sun.
Yeah, I mean, Ron Calamar. Okay, let me find. There was another one that was right by that. Oh, here we go. Candlemas Bear. Candlemas Bear. Let's find out about Candlemas Bear. Okay, so winter solstice. This talks about. I'm sorry. Okay, so the French historian Emmanuel Leroy Laudry wrote an entire book about a carnival that took place in the town of Romans in 1580 and records the appearance of what has come to be known as Candlemas Bear. Candlemas Bear. Every February 2nd, the beast would be prodded from its den to peer at the sky. Were it cloudy, this may sound familiar, were it cloudy, superstition held, the bear would be unable to see its shadow and so would behave as if winter were on the wane. But if it saw its shadow, because the weather was bright, it would be frightened back into its hole, and winter would endure for another 6 weeks. Groundhog Day is based on Candlemas Bear.
Groundhog Day's a lie?
Groundhog Day is a
No,
lie.
Groundhog's Day is science. This is all pure science.
Okay, thank God.
It is all science.
Groundhogs used to be Candlemas bears. And the bear is still employed in such festivals in the Alps and the Pyrenees. But other hibernating animals elsewhere perform a similar role.
Groundhogs.
Yeah. So we're basically all different people were like, hey, let's use animals to see if the sun is out and if winter is going to be over.
It's because the animals are always smarter, right? We're like, okay, certainly the animals know.
Have you met
if
our dog
winter's-
Leia? No.
I mean, as long as they're smarter than the average bear, that's really what matters.
But not Candlemas Bear.
Yeah, but like they're used as like a device in movies where like the animal knows that like the bad guys are around, like the evil ghost is around, all that kind of stuff. They're in tune to nature.
Another point about the sun is and its importance in our civilization and cultures is the fact that this is one of the highlights that I did was that many societies have erected monuments to the sun. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of monuments. There's I guess a large percentage of Neolithic tombs that have been built to face the sun at significant times. There's like 900 in Britain. We should go find them. We should go find them. We're going, yeah. Well, that's not a tomb though. Well, I guess it is.
Well, it's not
it's
a
for
tomb,
the
but...
like solstices, I suppose. Stonehenge is one of them, where they really don't know what the use was, but it has something to do with the sun. You know, so it just shows the importance of the sun throughout history. But I just saw this highlight that is a quote about astronomy that I think I thought was funny. And we all know what I think is funny is definitely going to be funny. Here's a quote. Okay, so this quote says, it's by Gustave Flaubert. Astronomy, a fine science, useful only to sailors. While on the subject, laugh at astrology.
Nice.
And I was like, yes, laugh at astrology.
What's funny to that quote, it kind of ties into what I was saying about the Christian man being, petulant, that kind of thing. But right before that, he was talking about how astronomy may have been taught at like one course in the college. Besides that, it was all astrology because that's really what mattered.
Yeah. That was the predictions of what's gonna happen, but they also kind of went like before astronomy became a term. Astrology was kind of the main term.
Yeah.
Before then there became
Like you could still study the stars, study the motions of the planets, but we call it an astrologer because that's just the name of it.
Yeah. And now astrology should definitely be laughed at.
So here's one about the longest day of the year.
Ooh.
It's talking about how it seems to like kind of hang in the sky for a moment and keep going. And it says, we see that effect at dawn, one for 2 or 3 days. The sun seems to linger for several minutes, hence the word solstice, from sol, sun, and stitim, from sitir, to stand still. So solstice is the sun standing still.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Just like armistice, arms and weapons stand still.
I also
You
have
know
that
what?
highlight.
Yeah, I
Oh
have it
yeah,
highlighted as
that's
well.
that's a good one.
We both are like sun weapons.
Oh, I didn't know that. Highlight it.
Oh my god. All right. So, oh my god. Just I have to freely admit that I did stop highlighting stuff.
Oh, here's one. Okay, so this is with ancient Egyptians. This is and Egyptians very well known for sun worship, and the sun god Ra was there,
I hear
and
Lady Gaga loves that too.
I don't get the reference.
It's okay.
It's too.
It's too dated,
Yeah.
honestly.
So Atum, the creator, the pre-existing, whatever creator, we get it. Atum would change places with the sun. The star was his ultimate incarnation. At other times, he was the conscious void within which the sun first arose. The moment. Oh, okay. Well, all right. We're just gonna keep reading this. The moment of orgasm was as useful a way as any to describe the way the universe came into being. A cosmology that suggests that the ancient Egyptians were, by several millennia, the first proponents of a Big Bang theory.
Nice. It really came home at the end there.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. I really like just going through the highlights and being like, what was happening?
Yeah.
What was I
like
thinking
I
about?
completely stopped.
Did you stop highlighting?
I did.
Yeah.
I
I stopped at page 324.
Oh, I stopped long.
Oh no!
before that.
I would do it sporadically.
All right. So Ben Bova. Brandon should probably know Ben Bova, sci-fi writer. Can't remember his books, but he. All right. Anyway, evolution hasn't adequately prepared us to easily understand things like quantum mechanics, curved space-time, or even the age of the Earth, let alone that of the universe. Metaphor helps, but it really is just a crutch, emphasizing more often than not the limits of our imagination. And my note was, our brain breaks. That's basically what it
brains
describes.
can't handle the knowledge of the universe.
We can't handle the truth.
This one I have is that there are different. Most cultures had different synonyms for the sun. So there's radiant number, vermilion luminosity,
Okay.
Lord of the East. These seem
Makes
to be. I
sense.
think these are all Chinese, actually. Great luminosity,
That sounds very Chinese. Actually.
crow
Yeah.
of yang, and fluid pearl. It is Chinese. The Chinese elite used many synonyms precisely in order to bewilder the uninitiated.
Oh,
So
what
basically,
bastards.
just to
They're
fuck,
elitists.
fuck with people and confuse people,
Yeah.
that instead of just being plain that they're talking about the sun, they're just like, oh, the vermilion luminosity.
What you would think through context, you could figure out what that is.
I guess so. Because the vermilion, or the red light.
Oh, here's one thing I didn't know. It's like a boar's head at Christmas feast represents the dying sign of the
Oh.
old year.
I didn't know that.
A suckling pig with the apple of immortality in its mouth. The new.
Huh. I thought
Really?
that was, yeah.
I just thought that was for decoration. And it's like, oh, let's put an apple in the mouth of our dead.
Yeah, here's also
Dinner.
something that never thought about, which actually now, and when I look at it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. The stars align against you, disaster, which is dis-astra. The stars are against.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep, I just never thought about it.
Disaster.
Meanwhile, everybody is being so nice, sticking with us as we read our.
Well,
notes.
it's just okay. So, so you have this kind of where you have the sun as in historical kind of where people are like just like, oh, we worship this thing. This thing clearly is important to life and gives some sort of, not that they had a term for energy, but energy, crops, and agriculture, and it's a necessary thing, you know, to worship, build monuments towards, you know, and everything. And then it transitioned also into the science of studying the sun, where it's like, oh, we actually need to know exactly how the sun, or how we move around the sun, how the sun moves, how we move around the sun. Eventually it was, you know, how the sun moves. But yeah, for precise timekeeping,
commerce.
And commerce, also for religions. And so one highlight I have is that it was not just a question of the direction in Islam. It was not just a question of the direction to pray, but when Muslims required accurate knowledge of the sun and moon so they could determine the exact hours for prayer. And so the last bit in the book that I got to before the episode, it was all about time. Check out our episode on time.
Nice.
And the development of various timekeeping technologies, from clocks and the evolution of the calendar, which the calendar is just bullshit. Every calendar we use is just it's based off like a Christian bullshit, is what it is. It really has nothing to do, they've using the sun, but it's kind of like just a timing of when they want, basically making sure that Easter falls on a Sunday somehow by making magic math happen. And
but also I think the book did say that because of the older calendar that they were using, that it did drift.
Oh, it did drift, yes, and it still is off. Hence, we have to add leap years and stuff. In fact, the most accurate calendar is the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar only gets off by a few seconds, or it's within like a few seconds or like a minute or something, and that is actually the most accurate calendar.
Over many years.
And when everybody freaked out in 2012 that it was the apocalypse, because it was like that was like when there was like something that they were had to like adjust, or there was something to do with that.
Wasn't it changing to the long calendar or something? I don't know.
It was just something where they have to adjust the calendar, but they only have to adjust it just a certain amount of times that are far apart from each other, and so then it was like, oh my god, the world's ending. But so so the last bit was about how then we started to then break down the day, where people used the work day, the life day was basically sunrise to sunset. And then now we have the day so broken down into each second, minute, and hour, where it's like we wake up at a certain time, we start work at a certain time, we eat at a certain time, we do various things at certain times, we have appointments at certain times. Like, everything is so regulated by time that I was then like, oh man, I wonder what it was like how you felt not having like
a Monday.
Hours. Like, not going, oh, it's 1:30, you know, I need to do this, or it's, you know, where the sun rises and you wake up, like how long your day feels, like how much you feel like you can get done. Whereas I feel like in society today, and myself included, it's like, oh gosh, I never have time. You know, like I never have time, you know, because there's so many things to get done that I don't feel I have time to do certain things, or, you know, so it just had me thinking about, oh, I wonder if the day felt longer if we just when people didn't have hours, when they were just relying solely on the movement of the sun throughout the sky, and that's what they were basically living their lives by, rather than.
And that really wasn't that
clock.
Long ago. That could be like 100 years ago, basically. That you just have a clock in your house constantly.
It was
right?
No, it was a couple. It was They defined what the day was, you know, a few hundred years ago.
Yeah, and there started to be like timekeeping in like the 1600s.
Right. No, I know like timekeeping as far as living day to day without a clock, without knowing the time.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't that long ago, really. But yeah, as far as being defined, then yeah, okay, it's well before then.
Yeah. But I mean, having like, you know, even like a wristwatch, that was like a couple hundred years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Look,
I
you
know
got
they.
you got past that part in the book. I don't know.
Well, I know they have like the oh, you pull it out of your pocket, a pocket watch, and no, but like it was, yeah, like you were saying, people define the day as sunrise, sunset, and then you had the whole the night is longer than the day part being screwing things up, and how basically people ended up with different times, and you had to standardize stuff, especially when you are
Trains.
and on a boat.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to standardize time if you're on a boat that way, and that helps with you knowing what latitude and longitude you're at, in particular longitude. Latitude is much easier to calculate.
Yeah.
But then there's the whole. It's like the French were not happy that 0 degrees longitude, which really is a measurement of time, is going right through Greenwich, England. And there was like a big debate, and then like France tried to be on its own time, even like with Napoleon and stuff like that.
Greenwich was picked as that, right? Because they had the observatory and they had all these records and logs of various things.
Right, but
so
the French had it as well. French had it as well.
Yeah, but they're dicks. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But then, so that's one way of establishing like time, but then railroads happen, and you have to be able to say, okay, this train is leaving at a certain time, so you got to standardize time with that. So time zones were created out of it, and it all basically boiled down to when the sun crosses a meridian, and where you define that. And so Greenwich, England. So it was, I don't know. It was very interesting from a very, it starts off kind of a very science perspective and then goes to art. And then I'm assuming it's coming back to science with the future of the sun. I will find out in my last 90 pages.
It would be interesting to do an experiment. Not an experiment, but just like take a day where you just you hide all clocks and any reference to time, and you just like live a day doing whatever you're doing and just see how it feels. If it feels different than a normal day where you're just like looking at the clock.
I have had that moment, at least for a subset of the day, playing video games where it's like, holy shit, we just started Elden Ring for 4 hours. Where did time go? So, yeah, and we are surrounded by clocks.
Well, yeah.
So we can lose ourselves, but it means.
But like with a purpose, like I'm gonna work on these things, or I don't know.
You know what it means though? What it'll mean is that you put away your phone. You do not turn on your computer. You do not turn on the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it is.
To go out
and
live in the world.
That maybe
go experience the world.
Maybe you go, all right.
We don't have any sheep to farm.
But this is what you do. All right, so we're gonna get up. We're gonna go hike at this place. And then when we think the sun is at the meridian, we're gonna go home. We're gonna have lunch, and then we're gonna go do something else. It'll be interesting to know. To see if we could do that.
Yeah.
My money is on we couldn't. We could probably nail when the sun might be at the meridian, like you and I, because we have a general sense of, astronomy.
Well, yeah.
but does the non-astronomy educated person, and I'm not saying that you have to be highly educated. It could be introductory astronomy educated.
Do they know what it means? Sun's directly above. It's about noon.
Yeah. Do they know that? but then it doesn't even mean that it's 12 o'clock on the clock. It means that you're at local noon, which is different
than
from
clock noon.
Clock noon.
Yeah.
So,
You know, something that I learned was I didn't realize so early sundials that like if you that they had to be made specifically for that latitude because of the last. It's all dependent on the sun's height in the sky. That so if you take a sundial from I don't know the UK and go down to Germany, it's not going to work. And so that was a big issue with sundials, is because they had to be made specific to your location in order to actually function properly.
Yeah, all based on latitude. So,
I'm gonna look
cool.
through my highlights more. Let me look through
So
my
it was a good
more.
book.
It's a really good book. It's very informative, and if you like a
I think
nonfiction.
I think our rule is going to has to be 200 pages ish or less.
Okay, I didn't know how long.
Ooh, neither did I.
Oh, here's my last highlight. Here's my last highlight that I made.
What was my last one?
My last highlight that I made was chapter 21, How Time Goes By, page 509. There are 700 something pages in this book, so that's how far I got. It is time bowed to space. There was nothing God-given in the starting point of a second or a minute or an hour. The result was that the prospect of a globe united by telegraph, fast trains, and steamships had so far been stalled because the spinning, angled Earth and the apparent moving sun made nonsense of the idea of the universal time. Because the sun doesn't give a shit about our time. The sun's just doing its own thing. It's just going. We're just going around it, and it's just nuclear fusing away.
All right. Oh, man. Hold on. All right. So, nope. That's not what I want.
I've got to step away in a minute.
You doing what?
I got to step away in a minute, but I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
All right. So, mine was from page 370, and it was the last one I did.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, let's just go back to this. I can read it probably better. All right, skin color, the biggest visible difference between the populations of human beings on this planet, around which so many bitter and divisive myths have been spun, is really nothing more than a schematic diagram of planetary levels of ultraviolet radiation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So all these people,
it's just evolution, and how much sun you're getting.
Right back.
Okay, I thought you were going to go anyway.
He'll be back in 3 minutes. So we got to keep this going for 3 more minutes.
That was my last one.
That was your last one. All right, I'm gonna look through my.
Oh man,
the term scientist didn't come into English until 1834.
Wait a minute, what?
The term scientist didn't come into English until 1834.
Well, yeah, they were natural philosophers.
Well, okay. Okay, I also have a highlight that just says starry rafts.
Okay, what?
I don't know why I think I'm gonna remember this shit.
What's the connotation for that?
Okay, so let's see.
You can add a note.
The oldest proven sea travel anywhere is the migration of anatomically modern Homo sapiens to Australia, beginning about 60,000 years ago. But the most impressive ocean voyagers of old were the Polynesians, who around 2000 BC had already made themselves formidable astronomers. The Chinese were not far behind, calling their blue water junks starry rafts.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got you.
Okay, so they're boats because they use the stars to navigate.
Yeah.
They're starry
Celestial
rafts.
navigation.
Celestial navigation.
It is what got, people from, it got people to Hawaii.
That's true.
So, yeah. What else you got?
Okay, I'm looking through here. Let's see.
Yeah, when Brandon gets back, I guess we'll call it.
This is, okay, so this, so whole tracts of continent may rise and fall as much as 16 inches at high or low tide. And also...
Wait a minute, what?
Let me go to the page.
Yeah.
Okay, so often what we... So we're talking about, like, the sailors and tides and everything in this chapter and sea pressure. or seafaring. The sun-mediated pressure affects land too, but because continents are much more rigid than oceans, the effect is much smaller. Even so, Thomason explained, whole tracts of a continent may rise and fall as much as 16 inches at high or low tide.
16 inches
We do
seems
not
like a lot.
we do not realize this as everything around us rises or falls together. Local lakes, swimming pools, baths, cup of coffee, or indeed the human stomach will not show any signs of rising or falling. Because we're all rising and falling at this.
Right.
Everything is rising and falling at the same time, thanks to.
Right, but still, 16 inches feels like a lot.
That's a lot.
I would have thought like 16 millimeters. Well, probably not that. 1.6 inches. I guess I shouldn't be completely surprised by it because Io goes like shit crazy with it.
Yeah, but it's also dealing with Jupiter's massive gravity.
You said 16 inches.
16 inches.
All right.
There's a whole thing about vampires in here, apparently.
Vampires are real.
Vampire myths, the whole sun thing. I have a highlight that just is a highlight that says David Dolphin. And I think that's just because I thought his name was fun.
I was saying again.
David Dolphin.
David Dolphin.
That's
David
a fun
Dolphin.
one. Really quick, National Geographic, up to 22 inches a day.
Oh, look at that.
They're called terrestrial tides.
Okay, all right. See?
I mean, we're like bumping up and down. That's cool. Nearly 2 feet.
But we just don't feel it because it's all
Just don't feel
happening
it.
together. Oh, and this quote is, indeed, nudists were the first modern sun worshippers.
Yes,
That's fun.
I do remember that.
Yeah, the sun was also seen for like a long time to be like the treatment of shit, like a medical device, let's lay out in the sun and it'll cure things. It'll help you with things.
Right, but I think like there are certain things like you go out, sun, vitamin D, which does shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think in that section it talked about like shipping people to the desert for like tuberculosis.
Before we knew about cancer, by 1933, sunlight was said to be a beneficial treatment for more than 165 diseases. In the years after the Second World War, it was a standard medical precept that the more sun we got, the better. Schoolroom windows were made so that ultraviolet rays could penetrate easily, and boarding school matrons would line up their charges at bath time to stand under sun lamps. Yay! Oh boy. Then we learned that too much of a sun is not a good thing for the human body.
Yeah, but they were also like, hey, cigarettes are good for you.
Well, that's just science.
Marketing.
No,
Capitalism.
even doctors were like, yeah, it's good for you.
That's because they got some money from big tobacco. Anyway, Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen, it is worth a read. We did a horrible representation of it because we just have, it's a long book. We've been busy and, whatever.
Right.
But it's very interesting if you're really interested in, if you like history, science, and you're really interested in kind of this whole kind of historical perspective and modern cultural influence of the sun on humanity and how it's been effervescent in our everyday lives since we have written history, basically. And also, it's very important to the entire planet and the reason life is on here, or one of the major reasons life is on here, I would say. So we definitely, the sun is so hot right now. Ron, the sun is always hot. It's always fire, the sun.
Yeah.
It's always fire. So we
we do.
We definitely recommend reading Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen. For our next book club that we will hopefully actually finish the book because it will be so long and we'll actually dedicate some time to it.
We have Einstein's Shadow, a black hole, a band of astronomers, and a quest to see the unseeable by Seth Fletcher. So this is the story of the team of scientists that actually went to take the first picture of the black hole a few years ago. And it's really good stories. So Einstein's Shadow. Check it out. I'm halfway through already. It's fantastic.
Wait, oh, you got a head start. We love
I can
Well,
reread it.
you know
I
what?
didn't take notes.
That means he'll finish it.
Yeah, it's true. We love black holes. If you're a fan of the pod,
God,
you
I
should know we talk about black holes a lot. We bring black holes up a lot. It's a thing.
Mhm.
So, we will get that on our Kindles, so we can go down another rabbit hole of why did Liz highlight this in the next edition of Cosmos the Cosmos book club. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this special edition of The Hangover for Cosmos book club. Again, check out Chasing the Sun by Richard Cohen, and also our next book is, say it again, Brandon.
Einstein's Shadow by Seth Fletcher.
There you go, Einstein's Shadow by Seth Fletcher. So if you want to read along with us, you can read with it. We will do... Okay, so we're discussing breaking this up into 2 parts, but...
I don't know how we decided.
I don't think we need to, because we're not going to be back until October anyway.
We'll let you know.
We won't do the next book club until after we come back in October anyway. So plenty of time to begin reading it, and then we'll figure out when we'll do the actual book club episode. We'll let you know that on October 5th when we are back for season 7 of Cosmos with Cosmos. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Follow us on all the things, and we will see you next time.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Our internet worked, and
Hey.
we're out. Peace.
All right.